In this video, we're going to cover order by function, mathematical operators in SQL, and as functions. So we'll start with the order by function. For the order by function, is this is the equivalent of sort in Excel. So you can put the command to order by based on a certain column. So you can, if you have a numeric column, so you can put the command that order by that certain command. So this will follow your select, the columns that you want to select, from which table you want to select it from. You can add more commands here, your where commands, group by commands, all those commands, and then it will be followed by order by column name. So it's going to order your results based on this column name. It doesn't, even though I've put it as column name 2, it doesn't have to be column name 2, it could be column name 1 or any other columns. I just put that here as an example. And then you can set whether you want the value to be in ascending or descending order. If you want it to be in ascending order, that's the default. So you don't need to add the function ACS to tell SQL to run it as ascending order. But if you want it in descending order, then you would need to mention descending. So you would write it as order by the column that you want to order by, and then descending, DESC. For the examples that I'll cover in this video, I'll be using Rexon Metals. This is the information you have on Rexon Metals. You have customer information, so customer ID, name, region, street address, city, state, and zip. Very few data points, just because this data set is mostly being used for educational purposes to understand exactly what is happening with each command. And then for customer order, we have customer ID, order date, ship date, customer ID, product ID, order quantity, and shipped. So that's the format again for your customer order. And then there is product information. Product information has description of their actual product, product ID, and price for each one of these products. So let's start with order by functions. So for the first example, I'm going to start off by pulling description and price from the product table. So select description, price from product. So there you have it. We have description for each of the products and their corresponding prices. Next, we want to sort this based on price. So we are going to sort this in ascending order. So that means from lowest price to highest price. So if you want to sort, the command is order by. The commands are not case sensitive. Just for debugging purposes, it's easier to see functions capitalized and table names and column names in like not capitalized. Okay, order by price. That's it. Once you run that, now you have price ordered from ascending from lowest price to highest. If you want to change this to descending order, so from highest price to lowest, you can add descend, DESC, after your order by command. There you go. Now we have this ordered based on price, but from highest to lowest. Order by commands are usually followed after like where commands. So you can put your select, price, select column names from table name, where, give your conditions to filter, rows, and then you can follow it by order by. Now that we know how to use order by function, let's move on to the function as. So the as function is used to rename or name columns. So you can rename existing columns. So if you have a certain column, you can rename it something else that you prefer. This is not going to change the name in your database, but it will change the name on the table that you're generating. So if you are trying to pulling out, or if you're trying to generate some table that you are going to use for some presentation, you can change the name from a shorthand that it's existing, like existing shorthand in the database, to a name that is more understandable for the audience, or easier to communicate with the audience. So the command is as simple as that. You just, in your select function, you can just put down which column you want to draw out and what name you would prefer for it to have. Okay? So column name as the new column name that you're going to suggest. And then it's the same from table name, and you can carry on with your where, order by, and all other functions following that. If you're creating a new column, for something like you are using some mathematical operators like this to create a new column, in that case you can also rename it to something because that column does not exist, so you would need to give it a new name. We're going to see examples of as functions in with mathematical operators, so it's worth going over the mathematical operators too before we move on to examples. So in SQL, you are able to manipulate data in some ways and create new data points, or to create new information in the way that you can add numbers, subtract, multiply, divide. You can divide with like a real number, or you can divide with a variable. So that means you can divide one of the column with numbers from the other. So you can divide with numbers, or you can divide with real numbers. Okay. This function allows you to show remainders after division. Okay. So let's try as function and mathematical operators. So for this example, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to create a table with description and price, but this time we are going to rename the price column to untaxed price to show that this pricing does not include taxes. The function is same as before, select description, comma, price from product and here we want to rename this. So as the name that you would want, so I want to name it as untaxed price. Okay. So now we have the same information, but instead of price, you see the column name reads untaxed price. And this will not change the actual database. So if you still go to the product table, you will see it's still called price. So if you are trying any function after this, you will still use price to pull price information from this table. Okay. The untaxed price, that is just it's like relabeling this table only. Okay. Right, so now we know how to rename existing columns or existing column names. Let's see how we would generate new column names. So now that we have untaxed price, what if we want to find out information about tax price? Neighborable taxes are sales taxes are 7.75%. So say we, along with the untaxed price, we want to find tax prices too. So let's first create a table with description and taxed price. Okay? So we have select description. I'm going to erase this, so we rewrite this. Now we want tax price, which is price, and then on top of that we have another 7.75% tax. So if we want to find the tax price, that's price times 1.0775. No such columns exist where there is information of price times 1.0775. So we need to label this column. So as tax price. You can name this anything that you want. Just be careful that you don't want to put a space in between. SQL is not able to read this space as the same word. It will think tax is one word, price is another. So tax is one command and then price is another command. But if you put this as tax price, it knows it follows. It's still the same thing. We're still finding a name for this column that we're generating. So as tax price from product. Okay. There you go. So now we have description and we have tax price. In addition to tax price, say we want both untaxed price and tax price to see the difference. We can have select description price as untaxed price, and then you have price times 1.0775 as tax price. See that I've added a comma here after price, the same way that you would have added a comma before adding another column. Okay. Now we have two columns. We have untaxed price and tax price. You can combine this with order by. So order by untaxed price. Okay. There you go. Now it is ordered based on prices from lowest to highest. Okay. So now you know how to use order by function, how to rename columns or name columns using as functions, and how to use mathematical operators. You can change this to any of the operators that you want to and try out this function. You can change this with subtraction, addition, division, and see what you get as results. Okay.